Good morning and welcome to the Clermont County Board of County Commissioners meeting this morning. It is November 17th, 2021. And before we officially start our meeting, we have Pastor David Tennant with the Owensville United Methodist Church this morning with us to lead us in prayer. And we thank you for coming in.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's be in prayer. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for this day. We give you thanks for another opportunity in these 24 hours. We pray to do your work. Father, prepare this room, people in this room, prepare them to do your work. Give them clarity of mind, give them discernment, courage, and wisdom to conduct your business. And for us as well, as we leave here or the business in here, give us the same opportunity and the same skills that we need to do our work for you. Father, we pray at this time of Thanksgiving that it would be more than just one day, that Thanksgiving would be thanks living, that we would live that each and every day. Father, prepare us. Amen.
Now to officially start our meeting, Commissioner Batcher, will you leave us in pledge allegiance?
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on our agenda this morning is approval of the regular session minutes of November the 9th, 2021. Board, we received these in advance. Are there any deletions or corrections this morning?
None here.
Hearing none, could I call for a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
And no further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes. This morning, we have a county staff elected officials discussion under item H. I'm going to move that up now to Bruce Crace. Are you with us from Permit Central? We have an update this morning and a presentation, please. Good morning.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
My pleasure to present you our 2021 Permit Central update. We do have a PowerPoint presentation. If you'd like, we could go ahead and get started. There we go. Yeah. Permit Central is certified by the state of Ohio to regulate residential and commercial building construction in Clermont County and commercial buildings in Brown County. Permit Central reviews construction documents, issues close to 4,500 permits a year, and provides inspections on all buildings, mechanical, electrical, fire alarm, and sprinkler systems. As you can see by our report, we're on track to actually exceed last year's numbers. In spite of the pandemic, our permits have been strong. It is truly amazing the will of private sector and continuing to strive through these tough times and continue to build. At Permit Central, we're working with the Office of Public Information to continually outreach to the public. One of the questions we often get is, why do you need a permit? Why do I need a permit? So a lot of what we do, it's you don't really see. We do plan reviews and we do inspections on all buildings. We do find corrections in our plan reviews and through our inspections daily. These are correction items that help the owners. It's like a form of insurance. It adds an extra layer of protection for owners for buildings. We're proud to be able to provide that service. We have prepared a outreach video that will be available on our website. If we could, David, I'd like to go to that, please.
Permit Central is Clermont County's resource for your permit needs. You can start your process online at our website, permit.clermontcountyohio.gov. Once there, click on the Permit Application link. On this page, you will find valuable information. Once you think you are ready, you can download the General Application for Permit and Plan Approval form. Just fill out this form and bring it to our helpful permit specialist at Permit Central. If you need an inspection, our permit specialist can help you with scheduling your inspection. Remember to start your permit process at permit.clermontcountyohio.gov. Call us at 513-732-7213 or come into our office at 2275 Bower Road in Batavia.
Thank you. Permit Central is a division of the Clermont County Department of Economic and Community Development. We have 3 divisions within our department: Permit Central, Inspections, and Engineering. I'll get caught up with myself here. There we go.
One more.
So at Permit Central, we're a centralized location. We've always been a one-stop shop for permits where you can, fill out one application and get all of your permits for electrical, mechanical, water management, sediment control, sewer, water, driveways, sidewalks, frontage, and fire protection and floodway permits. Our Permit Central team, the permit specialists, are Lisa Anderson, Administrative Support Supervisor, Kathy Williams, Heather Bueller, Shelby Wolfram, and Jenny Seibert are all permit specialists. The inspection division is responsible for inspections for all permits. Residential reviews are completed within a 24-hour turnaround time. Inspections are scheduled the next day. We're proud that we've been able to keep that schedule. The code actually allows 48, but in spite of all of our pandemic and other woes, we've been able to provide the 24-hour turnaround time. So very proud of that. Our inspection team members are J.C. Young, Team Leader Supervisor, Inspectors Craig Gilkison, Sean Harmon, Alex Wakefield, and Jimmy Hoskins. The report you see there, the inspections seem to be a little down. Part of that is, we're a staff of 4, and we have 2 vacant positions. So some of those inspections are follow-up inspections, which is we're a little bit backlogged on. Administration. Administration is responsible for the oversight of the department and enforcement of regulations, including reviews of commercial plans, budget, state reporting, and software management. Our administration team is myself, Heath Wilson, plan examiner, Mark Brown, ISD, and Karen Schwartz, executive assistant. This report too also indicates the income, the revenues for permits. You can see that also has been on an increase despite the pandemic and fluctuations we have in the economy. So it continues to increase. Enforcement. We enforce airport regulations, flood regulations, water management, sediment control regulations, the Ohio building codes, coordination of regulations. We work closely with our local fire departments in both counties. We coordinate permitting with public health, water resources, planning, and the engineer's office. All these efforts to ensure that zoning is approved. Ensure that zoning is approved for all applicable permits. Zoning is another agency that we work closely with, and we respond to emergencies as requested by the fire department. This is an interesting chart. This graph shows that we've had a steady incline of new single-family residences here in the county. That's very promising. I'm really glad to see that. We've increased from 330 in 2016 to 657 in 2020. Most of the single-family residences are located in Miami and Batavia townships. There are currently 579 permits for single-family residences in 2020. Future plans and projects. We strive to maintain our timeframes and completion of permits, stay on time, upgrade of our software to enhance production. Large projects, most everyone is familiar with Nestle Purina, right up the road here. That's, as I recall, one of the largest projects we've had in the county. It's almost 1 million square feet. So it is a huge industrial project. Our goals are to become fully electronic and become paperless. We strive to encourage internships and trainee programs and promotion of our department. Here's our team. Clermont County Permit Central.
Bruce, before you leave this morning, we have something for you. Or do you want to come down? Because we're going to do a picture. I know you. Did you bring anybody?
He's
from your
thrilled.
team with you?
No,
Okay, well, fine. Then you're the man that gets to carry this everything.
I
down.
can't take a picture. I just want you to know.
Oh, okay. All right. I know. This is a certificate of appreciation. We're hereby presenting to the Permit Central with the certificate of appreciation. We want you to know that we appreciate all you do for the citizens of Clermont County. And all three of your commissioners signed it. Myself, Claire Corcoran, David Painter, and Bonnie Batchelor. We're in the picture. Is there anybody else here in your department? Or you leave them all at home?
He's
So
making a
busy, I had
word.
to leave them up there.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
I-
See?
I-
He's making a
They're out
Good
doing
answer.
inspections.
Good
right?
answer.
They're out doing inspections.
That's right.
Okay, Smiley does it 3 times. Four.
Wow, you
Four.
increased
Wow.
it.
He really
Wait a minute. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Rachel, come on up. This is an addition this morning.
Oh, that's right.
Andrew, do you want to come up? You and Heather not? Come on up. We're going to add you on this morning. This is Rachel. She's from Goshen High School. She's a senior going on to the University of Cincinnati. And if I have this correct, she's shadowing the Clermont County Chamber
Government affairs.
in government
She's interested
affairs.
in politics
That's
and
why you're
government.
here. Okay. Well, smile on that like you like this, okay? We want to put you out on camera. Oh. There you go. No?
Why did we increase it to
Thank you
4?
for coming. Thank you. Good luck to you.
You have to understand, he always did 3,
Yeah,
and now
wait.
you've increased.
Is there something wrong with the battery in that camera or something? Oh,
If you complain, you're gonna get 5.
you're right. If I complain, it'll be fine. Okay, moving on this morning, we have Wade Garbowsky here. Wade, how are you today?
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Thank you for coming in today.
We haven't had a crowd this large in about a year and a half.
Well, good. I'm glad they're here. This is
Good to see
exciting to
everybody.
see
Good
people.
to see everybody. We also have a few people next door that are doing a live stream of what's happening.
Okay, good, good.
The board had asked me to do a history of the Carriage House. And,
Okay.
with that, I'd like to proceed with your permission.
Please do.
As you know, the Carriage House was purchased about 23 years ago as part of the 3-property Corcoran East, Corcoran West End Carriage House. Last October, it was auctioned off. The building, the 2 Corcoran buildings in front were sold, leaving the Carriage House an isolated building on our parcel. We had bounced things back and forth over the last year or so. Actually, it's extended even more than that. Bottom line here is that we are discovering options still. We do have prices to both demo it and both put it on our inventory, if you will, of a viable building that we could occupy. One of the big questions is the Corcoran East actually serves the utilities for the Carriage House. So that it's been an obstacle. The board and actually the county administrator had asked me to get pricing on that. The low price to get the utilities on the Carriage House itself was about $52,000.
To separate that out? Is
That would separate the utilities.
right?
I will say that for the last 11 months that we have been paying a portion to the owners of the Corcoran buildings of our utilities, which was a mutual agreement that we did when it was sold. So that's not the issue. But, if, that's one of the options. Because of the 52,000, the other option that I was trying to receive is, what if we demoed the building in its entirety? We received 3 quotes on that, the lowest being about $34,000 to completely demo it. So that's what I wanted to report to the board today, just to give you an update on what things are, so you can make a decision, have some discussion, and then any input you need from me. That's what I'm here for.
Wade, are the wires underground or do they go?
The utilities are for the most part underground. The natural gas is there, but the water comes underground from the Corcoran East building. Now, one thing that has been done is last week we took the fiber, because the building was unoccupied. We took the fiber from the building.
Okay.
So it does not have fiber connectivity. But according to the folks from TTD, that would have to be upgraded. If you decide to keep it, it would have to be upgraded anyway. I just didn't want that wire hanging across our parking lot. I thought it was going to be an issue.
Okay.
So that was done.
And Wade, just a couple of other questions.
Yes, sir.
Exterior of the building looks like it's in its original, what are we talking, 1820?
I believe
Facade.
18. There was some history.
1896.
Yeah, 1896 is the best that we can determine. It is
The exterior looks, original to its form, except windows and those kind of things. But I've been in the interior. Talk about the interior for a second. There is nothing on the interior of that building that is vintage.
the original. They tried to tell me that some of the original beams were there. If they were, it's hard to tell, but they were all painted over. So the people ask me all the time, why isn't it on historical registry? Well, as you know, you have to have so much of the original building in place to qualify for that. Is the building old? Yes. Has it had several renovations? Yes, it has. So,
But the interior is 1980s, the 1970s to 1990 interior finishes, drywall,
correct.
that kind of thing.
Yeah. And in 2008, we actually did an overhaul for the carpeting, the flooring. We even put new subfloor on the upstairs. So it's been upgraded on the inside.
Doesn't that have skylights also?
It has
Yeah,
2
with 2
skylights that are
skylights.
operated.
Right.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
It has a system, an HVAC system in it, which was something that we had put in. The other thing to keep in note that if we are going to keep it or whatever is going to happen, there is a new condensing unit that is scheduled to be put in there. I have not done it, but it needs to be scheduled if we're going to occupy the building.
What's the cost on that? Do we know?
Right around $10,208,
That's pretty close.
approximately.
Pretty
Yeah,
close.
that's close.
That was pretty close.
15 cents.
Wow.
And 88
Yeah,
cents.
18
That's from
cents.
yesterday.
And just another discussion about that. Since Corcoran East and West were both sold, and then that particular plot was put back onto the deed here
Correct.
with these buildings. Now that particular building has no street frontage.
No frontage. Yes, sir.
So you can't break that out as a separate plot without street frontage here. And
It would be a
Dave, is that
discussion. There'd be many, in my opinion, there'd be some hoops that would have to be gone through, but that's something for further discussion Mr. Bickford is looking into.
And then one other thing that, piques my curiosity is that, can the building be moved? Can that building be made available to one of the park districts or a close piece of property here where if people wanted to keep it for, the future,
Sure.
that it could just be picked up, moved, and relocated?
That would be a discussion item. I'm not a structural engineer. I know the structural condition of the building. It's one of the original that has the ties through it to hold the walls in place. anything is possible with the right amount of funding. Anything is possible, but
Right.
can it be moved? My answer to you would probably be, I wouldn't recommend it, but it's possible.
But in that particular case, the building could be documented and then demoed out, razzed, and then re-erected in its original
Could be,
form,
it could be.
or in much of its
And
original.
it would have to comply to the current code, but that's all options to consider.
Which is kind of exactly like what they did with William Lytle's museum
That
and
is
his
correct.
surveying home up in
That's correct.
Williamsburg.
Good information. That is
Yeah,
correct.
so I mean, they did exactly the same thing to preserve that.
That is correct.
Bonnie, you've gone through that too, Commissioner.
I know. I mean, to go through the building, you would think that you were in a building that had been built 15, 20 years ago. Nothing looks like it is from the 1800s if you walk through there,
Well,
with everything that has been done to
Yeah.
be occupied.
and I will say that it wasn't under my watch that all of that was done. That was when the Cork Properties had owned the building and they modernized it. Again, people have said, are they original beams? I'm not a person that would know that. They're all painted
They're
over.
painted.
Is it possible they are? Very possible that they are, but I can't tell that. I can't tell that.
And then just looking into the future, I mean, one of the things since, coming here as a commissioner, this campus here, obviously needs parking space.
Correct.
It needs the ability to have drive-through space for paying taxes and things like that, like other counties do.
Correct.
The Heritage Building back here is not in good repair.
1976
It's a
construction,
1976 building and it's starting to
showing
reach
its
its
age.
life expectancy. There's no question about that. So, long-term plans here are that, to exit through this parking lot, you literally have to make a jog around that building. Now, even though that building only impacts about 4 spaces, it's not a safe place to walk around in the early morning and in the late evening when everybody's exiting this place, much less when you put 500 or 600 people here in a voting scenario who are all trying to get into the Heritage Building to vote and or pay taxes here in this building. That's a tough call there.
It is.
It always amazes me, the first car that parks down here and other cars are trying. I don't think I want to be that first car parked there.
I could be a wealthy individual if I lotteried off the best parking spots.
Right.
I can't do that, but there are preferential parking.
But I mean,
spots.
that jogging, as he said, through there.
And I remember the original plan was to razz the Corcoran East and Corcoran West.
Yes.
And because of leaving a hole in the streetscape here in Batavia, the village of Batavia basically came to the commissioners and said, we would really appreciate it if you don't do that.
That is correct.
And so we said, okay.
Yeah, that is
And,
correct.
and then we made those buildings available to, not to drop any names, but to the Ubers, who one of them is here today in attendance.
Actually, all 4 are here today, but,
Yeah.
but the other 3 are next door. It's a funny story, and I don't mean they're going to hear me, but the first thing that I heard was we don't have Blue's Clues or any of that, and I have a little grandson, so I'm familiar with those. But I had to break her heart that we did not have that on that TV. So anyway.
And those buildings look wonderful.
What's that?
Those 2 buildings just look great.
They are doing a wonderful job.
Yeah.
They are doing a wonderful job, and I think the village appreciates it. Us neighbors appreciate it. So compliments to your family.
You think?
Commissioner Corcoran, can I clarify something? We're talking about the
I know
we're
what you're going to
talking
do.
about the Corcoran building. So that is no relation of yours, correct?
No, it's not. Wish it was. Sorry.
But I'm sure there are people.
I'm sure
listening
they
that
do.
think,
Yeah.
No,
No,
There
no
are
relation.
people watching that said, that's where Claire grew
Yeah,
up.
she
I
sold
know.
that building.
It's her house. Her bedroom was right
It's
upstairs.
fine with me. It's a nice house.
No, there is no
There's
no
no-
relationship
No.
between Commissioner Corcoran and the Corcoran buildings. They were called the Corcoran clan buildings from years ago.
But I think there was some bootlegging or some distilling going on in the basement down.
Well,
You never know.
yeah. As a matter of fact, there's probably a lot more history than I have. I've been around 30 years, but that was a unique building at its best time.
Got the history.
Cool, cool.
They may
Very
want to know
nice.
that history of the Corcoran East building. So anyway, is there any further questions? I'll be available
No.
if there are.
Thank you
Okay.
kindly.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And with that note, we've reached our public participation part of the agenda this morning. And is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board this morning?
Yes, I would.
Okay, if so, come on up. We have some instructions, though. Did you already sign in and all that good stuff back there? Okay, come on up. I'll go through this real quick and then you can start. Thank you. During this time, the board does not answer any questions nor engage in a debate, and no member of the public may comment about a matter that's not within the purview of the county commissioner's responsibilities. The commissioners are not expected to comment on matters brought to the board during this time. Each speaker shall only speak once and shall be recognized by the board president before speaking. And this is in accordance with the board's rules of procedure. Your comments are limited to 5 minutes. Would you like to proceed and state your name and your address for us, please?
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. My name is David Pryor. I am 34 years old, a resident of the village of Batavia, and a recently elected official to the village council.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to begin by thanking our county commissioners today, Claire, Dave Painter, Bonnie Batchelor, for your work and service to our community. We appreciate that, and I'm here to request on behalf of many that you leave the Carriage House standing and consider repurposing it and even selling it to an appropriate business. Within less than a week, there's been an outpouring of widespread local support for the saving of the 1892 historic Carriage House through a community petition that now has over 2,300 signatures on 72 pages. This is what 72 pages looks like, so which is just amazing. And I want to say, if you at the end of the day make the decision to halt the demolition and allow the Carriage House to stand, I believe that you will have done your duty and service to put the needs and interests of your constituents in this area first. The village of Batavia, like the rest of Clermont County, has a rich history and the potential to join alongside our neighboring Clermont towns like Old Milford and Loveland as a thriving place to run a business, raise a family, and experience the joys of small town living. And to that end, I believe leaving a lasting legacy for future generations is critical. Small town charm, I believe, is interwoven into that legacy. And contrary to the opinions of some, small town living is not dead or dying. Far from it. It is very much an alive and growing trend in the United States today. The reality is this: I believe that there is a great resettling of America happening right now, in small towns especially. All over our nation, people are choosing to move their families and businesses out of suburban cookie-cutter houses and strip malls and into smaller communities with a unique story and history. And many of these small towns and communities are bustling with life and activity and community events, and are a main attraction for weekend social spots for those who even live outside of that town. As a county seat, Batavia Village is in a unique position to begin, I believe, partnering to pioneer a type of, I'll call it a small town comeback revival. And I believe an appropriate vision is essential to that. The blueprint toward this end is to focus, I believe, in 3 main areas: business development, seizing opportunities to draw quality foot traffic, producing local businesses to help create a more vibrant village. Number 2, historic revitalization. Ready businesses actually do require ready buildings here in the village, and it's essential to work to preserve and restore the small town charm of the historic buildings, but also modernize the amenities to result in move-in ready spaces for downtown Batavia. And lastly, community spirit, finding those ways to host regular events, festivities that are going to inspire and cultivate village-wide excitement and participation. Now, how does this all connect with the saving of the Carriage House? What's this all have to do? Allowing the structure to stand, I believe, is a great start, but it's only the beginning. I believe that with the repurposing of the building and the right business vision, will serve to help further a more attractive, vibrant county seat, and is worth finding a few other parking spaces. I want to share very quickly, if I've got a minute or two left, a quick proposal of what that could kind of look like. There's a business that has offered to purchase the building for more than the cost of demolition, and several others very interested in it. One of the things that we look at is this is an idea, a plan, one possibility of several that could essentially turn a historic building that's got history, but rather than repurposing it just into something that serves maybe as storage, it could be a spot where people in the community have to both have a thriving, developing business and also fuel community. And I believe it would even be a great spot for many of the employees here to participate in community life. So with that, I believe that there's an opportunity to partner with potential local businesses here and really do a service to not only save the house and a piece of history, but be a part of fueling a greater vibrancy here to the village that really should be leading the way as the county seat.
Good
Appreciate your
timing.
consideration.
Good timing. You made 5
You're right on
minutes. Right on it. Good for you. Thank you, David, very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming
you.
today.
Appreciate it.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak this morning? Would like to take the podium?
Go ahead.
Come on up. Did you sign in this morning?
I did not.
Well, you will in a
I was
minute.
supposed to.
That's all right. Come on up.
I'll get it later.
You heard the rules. I need you to go also to the podium and then state your name and address.
They want to submit, you go to the court.
Yeah, and if you want to submit anything, just give it to the clerk and she'll pass it
Give it to
down,
the
if
clerk.
that helps you out. Thank you. I don't need to reread rules, do I?
Inside my little, my name is Cindy Johnson. I'm the secretary of the Clermont County Historical Society.
Morning, Cindy.
Hi. And I've learned about the potential demise of this. It's a lovely little building, but I was looking to see the historical significance, and I must say I can't find a historical significance to it, but I can find a story for it. Within my humble little folders is the story of Carl Horner, who built what has become known as the Corcoran buildings. And he was an immigrant from Germany. He wound up in Batavia in the early 1870s. He worked as a blacksmith for Sterling and Moore, and he built the Corcoran buildings to be a tavern with living quarters overhead. He raised 8 daughters in that building, and I've got photos in the little, because why not? I have photos. And this space was directly behind what you call the Corcoran House, and I've become to call it the Horner Building. I've got pictures of it with a big sign out front that says bear. It was famous for its cigars and its oysters. It was a pool hall. It was a tavern. Eventually, it was divvied up into apartments, but that was his carriage house. So I have that. I feel like it's the right look for the village of Batavia, and the village of Batavia is striving so hard to bring a comeback to when I moved here in 1981. It still had stores and lumber yards and hardware, and now it's got not very much, but they've worked hard. They've spent how many millions of dollars to improve the look of Main Street, and this little building fits right in, and obviously there's possibilities of good usage here. And my second point is from my personal standpoint. I live 2 doors outside the village, and I'm rooting for it. I would like to see the village maintain its quaint charm. Milford has done really well maintaining its quaint charm and not going the way of knocking off the old buildings and putting in brand new. I just feel like it's much more valuable as it stands than 4 parking spots. And I would like to get to know y'all better so that you can come to the Historical Society with questions. We could maybe partner through some things or explore some things. Feel free. We're here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to speak this morning? Come on up. State your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Scott Runk, and many of you people do know me I'm with Moore Family Funeral Homes. Actually, you mentioned something about Sterling. That was actually Moore Family Funeral Homes, and it's actually called the Sterling Moore Carriage Company. And that's how he actually built his buildings, and and that's where the accordance is to where he worked. And that was 1820. That's when the business started over there on Spring Street. And like David and like you have mentioned, it's just to try to keep that charm is what we're trying to do. Especially, I have just been also on Village Council. I just got elected also.
Congratulations.
And thank you very much, and thank you for letting me be able to talk to you today also. So again, it's more or less that charm that we're looking to keep. As you can see, that's what they created, which is actually perfect. That's a great way to do that. But I just wanted to make sure that you know that sometimes historical preservation is possible if it's possible. We know we had an elementary school that was not possible, especially when the Ohio school facility says it takes 103 or 106% to replace that school. Sometimes you can't do that, because it's better just to maybe possibly build new at some point in time. But as a smaller building, and I think David had mentioned this, it's probably there's someone out there to purchase that building and make that a better building, just to keep that charm in our village, and just to make sure that we try to keep the houses, especially with, it might not be historical registered, like the Grant House that used to be where the Millers used to live, that actually Grant was in. Actually, he gave a presentation out the front door, if I remember, right on to South 2nd Street. But again, I'm just here just to say that with our funeral home, we've been here since 1820. We have our foundation is actually the original 1820 and built on. And we do have surrounding buildings that are around 1860, 1870. But we try to preserve those. And I just would like the commissioners to take in consideration to try to save this building, especially for the charm of this village of Batavia. And I really appreciate you. And I appreciate you just taking the time to let us all talk here today. And God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we appreciate everyone coming. Is there anyone else who would like to speak today?
If there's anybody across the hall.
Yeah,
Is there-
what about-
Hey, Craig, can you check across the hall? Because I know they're a little bit delayed.
We do have people who are
Just to see
across
if
the
anybody
hall
across
that
the hall
are
wants to-
watching this live, so we want to make sure no one over there wants to speak before we move on. None?
Nobody.
No one? Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming this morning, and we appreciate all your comments and bringing this to the board's attention. We'll move on now to, let's see, what do we have on the agenda now? We've got consent agenda. Board, you have received the consent agenda in advance. Is there any additions or deletions this morning? Could I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? The only thing I'd like to add is I'd like to thank Barb Wiedenbein, who always graciously helps out and gives a share of what she has left over, is what I call it. She transfers money into the general fund of what she receives, and it's $500,000, and that's a big help because it's shared with everyone. With that, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes. Moving on to the non-consent agenda, we'll start with item number 10. Item number 10 is a recommendation of the Board of County Commissioners to adopt resolution number 177-21, resolving to approve payment to vendors in the total amount of $2,064,223.88 as set forth in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated November 17, 2021, and the BCC directed prepaid invoice reports and the procurement card transaction report as presented by the county auditor on November the 15th, 2021, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue the warrants for the same pursuant to Section 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Could I have a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes. Good morning, Connie Tibby, item number 11.
Good morning. Item number 11 is the recommendation of Timothy Dick, the Director of the Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to authorize Claire B. Corcoran, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute the data sharing and confidentiality agreement by and between the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, Columbus, Ohio, and representatives of local Area 12, including Clermont, Butler, and Warren Boards of County Commissioners, who are the chief elected officials of local Area 12, and the Workforce Investment Board of Butler, Clermont, and Warren counties, for the provision of wage record information and unemployment insurance claimant data that local Area 12 will use to, 1, measure local area performance against local performance accountability standards, 2, to conduct outreach to unemployment insurance claimants who have nearly exhausted their claims, and 3, to determine eligibility and conduct outreach for dislocated workers in Area 12's efforts to support the continuous improvement of the local workforce development system at no cost to Clermont County or local Area 12, therefore, effective upon execution by ODJFS and representatives of Area 12 through June 30th of 2023, and pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions outlined therein.
Board, you've heard the reading and recommendation to execute the data sharing and confidentiality agreement. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll make the second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Abstain.
Item number 12, Connie Tibby.
Recommendation of Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to authorize Timothy Dick, the Director of Department of Job and Family Services, to execute an Early Intervention American Rescue Plan Act grant agreement by and between the Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services, acting in its role as administrative agent for the Clermont County Family and Children First, and the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities in Columbus, Ohio, for the provision of additional funding for the early intervention services for Clermont County families and children with birth through, for Clermont County families with children from birth through age 2 with developmental delays, in an amount not to exceed $12,151.55 for state fiscal year 2022 and $49,912.05 for state fiscal year 2023, for a total amount of $62,063.60, with no local cash match required therefor. It's effective for the period of July the 1st of 2021 through June 30th of 2023, pursuant to the terms and conditions specified therein, and in concert with the Early Intervention Service Coordination Grant application previously approved by the Board of County Commissioners on May 29th of 2021.
Board, you've heard the reading and the recommendation to execute an Early Intervention American Rescue Plan Act agreement. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes. Item number 13, Connie Tibby.
Recommendation of Timothy Dick, the Director of Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to appoint the following representative to serve on the Clermont County Family and Services Planning Committee for the term of August 23rd, 2021 through December 29th, 2023, for the purpose of gathering public input and reviewing and making program recommendations in developing and maintaining a community plan to implement Ohio Works First, pursuant to and in compliance with Section 329.06 of the ORC and other programs established under Chapter 5107, Ohio Works First Program, and Chapter 5108, Preventive Retention and Contingency Program of the Ohio Revised Code. And this is for one appointment. It's Scott Brewer, who is the Director of Clermont Transportation Connection.
Connie, before we vote on that this morning, can we change that to be for the term of November 17th, today's date, when we actually vote on it?
Um,
Because we're not voting going back months to August at this point.
I
Administrator
don't know if
Eigel?
he's been participating in meetings. I don't know. I assume that
Well-
he's,
We can do that.
We can change it? Okay. All right, then I'll,
Make it effective today.
okay.
Yep.
The board is a recommendation to appoint the following representative to serve on the Clermont County Family Services Planning Committee effective November 17th, 2021 through 12/29/2023, and that would be Scott Brewer. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Thank you, Connie.
Thank you.
Item number 14, Suki Sheets. Good morning.
Board. Item number 20 is a recommendation to adopt a resolution number 17821. And this is to authorize the Ohio Department of Transportation to proceed with the ODOT project number CLE 32 2.88, which has an ID number of 103959. We know this is the eastbound 32 ramp to Klepper Lane project. It's in Union Township. There are terms and conditions in the agreement that ODOT requires, and it will be designated and constructed through the ODOT-let process, meaning ODOT will be the manager of this construction project. There are no local funds required. This will also authorize Tom Eigel, County Administrator, to execute the documents necessary to develop and construct the projects, as well as to execute any appropriate documents to effect the assignment of all rights, titles, and interest of the board to ODOT in order to allow ODOT to direct additional corrective work, recover damages due to errors or omissions, or to exercise all the contractual rights and remedies afforded by law or equity. This is just an agreement, so because ODOT is with this project touching both a county and a township road, Klepper and Fayard, they require these agreements with each of us so that if anything has to happen throughout the construction, we are authorized to go and work with them and allow that to continue.
Board, you've heard the reading, and to adopt the resolution number 178-21 and all the agreements and content. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Suki, you said two roads, Klepper and what are the roads?
Fayard?
Fayard?
Yep, that's where it's going to come off at 32
Okay.
through kind of where Fayard is right now and hit Klepper.
Thank you.
And Union Township is doing the agreement to authorize ODOT.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Thank you, Suki.
Thank you.
Item number 15. Lyle Bloom, good morning.
Item 15 is a recommendation to award the bid for biosolids hauling services for the Clermont County Water Resources Department pursuant to the specifications to J.A. Strasinger Trucking LLC out of Blanchester, Ohio, for the lowest and best bid received on October 7th, 2021, for a total estimated amount of $2,457,549.45, and to execute the contract relative thereto effective January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2026, with the option to renew for an additional one-year period upon the same terms and conditions pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein, and award of bid therefore, and contingent upon the adoption of the annual appropriations for 2022 and the issuance and receipt of the necessary purchase order. So this is for the hauling of our biosolids from our wastewater treatment plants and alum residuals from our water treatment plant, or from the Bob McCoon water treatment plant. And then we also partner with the city of Milford, and this contract, they haul the biosolids from their wastewater treatment plant as well. The total, again, this is a 5-year contract, so we're looking at approximately $491,510 per year with this contract. We see costs rising with everything. From our previous contract from the 2021 to 2022, with these contract prices, we'll see about a 45% increase in those services.
Wow.
Wow. And they haul these biosolids to the Rumpke landfill in Georgetown, Ohio.
Wow. Board, you've heard the recommendation to award the bid for biosolids hauling services with J.A. Strasinger Trucking LLC. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Lyle, with 45% increase, any other alternatives? I mean, how does this?
It had one other bid, and I think they were like $1.1 or $1.2 million more.
And I mean, I don't know what the requirements are for hauling it. Can we haul this ourselves if we had
We
an
do not
appropriate
have
truck?
The staff or the trucks to haul it. It's something we could consider. But we'd have to make a significant capital investment on the semi trucks, and have to attract CDL licensed drivers, which is a challenge for everyone right now to get those.
And we would just have to see what that return on investment
Sure.
would have to be
Over a
after you
5-year
made that.
period.
Yeah. But if it's going to continue to do this, I mean, if the projection is that we're going to see a 30% or 25%, let's just say 25% increase over the next 10 years, every year, that might be a way to take a look at that.
Yep. We will definitely consider that.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Item number 16, Lyle Bloom.
Item 16 is a recommendation to, one, award the bids for contracted services to perform lawn mowing and lawn maintenance of Clermont County properties pursuant to the specifications to Tyndall's Lawn and Landscape out of Batavia, Ohio, and to Caliber Ground Maintenance out of Bethel, Ohio, for the lowest and best bids received on September 30th, 2021. Tyndall's Lawn and Landscape, they're being awarded bid item number 1, which is our water properties, $42,560. Caliber Ground Maintenance, they're being awarded the bid item number 2, which is our wastewater properties, at $48,220. And then Caliber Ground Maintenance is also being awarded bid item number 3, which are the other county properties, for $27,440. Again, we're seeing increases in mowing prices. We actually, from prior year contracts, we've eliminated our 3 largest wastewater treatment plants from the scope of the contract. The quotes we were getting just to mow those 3 totaled like $60,000 to mow those. So we invested in our own mower, and we're having our plant operators actually mow those 3 treatment plants to help save on the mowing costs.
Okay.
I got to finish the motion. Sorry. And second, to execute the contracts for contracted services to perform lawn mowing and lawn maintenance of Clermont County properties between the Board of County Commissioners of Clermont County, Ohio, and Tyndall's Lawn and Landscape out of Batavia, for bid item number 1, the water properties, an estimated annual amount of $42,560, and Caliber Ground Maintenance out of Bethel for bid item number 2, wastewater properties, and bid item number 3, other county properties, and the annual estimated total of $75,660, effective for a period of January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024. And by mutual agreement of the respective parties in writing, exchange not less than 30 days prior to the expiration of said contracts. The contracts may be extended for an additional 1-year period upon the same terms and conditions as stated in Article 8 of the contract, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein, and award of bids therefore, and contingent upon the adoption of the annual appropriations for fiscal year 2022 and the issuance and receipt of the necessary purchase orders.
Board to refer the reading and recommendation to award the bids for the contracted services to perform lawn mowing and lawn maintenance of the Clermont County properties. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Item number 17, Lyle Bloom.
Item 17. I'm going to smile on this one. You won't be able to
You're going to
tell.
smile? We're not smiling after the first one, Grace.
Item 17 is a recommendation to approve the request to advertise for bids for project numbers 6402-60116 and 6402-60117 relative to the Newtonsville Area Collection System Assessment Project and the Newtonsville Wastewater Treatment Plant Project, respectively, located in Wayne Township, pursuant to the plans and specifications, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in a newspaper of general circulation for 3 consecutive weeks, beginning on November 25th, 2021. Schedule a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting on December 16th, 2021 at 10 a.m. with bids to be received until 2:00 p.m. local time on Thursday, January 13th, 2022. Here in the Office of the Board of County Commissioners, 101 East Main Street, Batavia, where they will be publicly open and read aloud shortly thereafter, and this notice will also be posted on the county's website. So this is the infamous, or not so infamous, Newtonsville project that we've been working on for many years. We finally got everything in order, all the permits, approvals from the USDA, and all the necessary easements. The engineer's estimate for both parts of the project. There's two contracts associated with, there's the wastewater treatment plant and then the collection system as well. The total construction cost estimate, or the engineer's estimate, is $11,740,000.
I understand now why you're smiling. Board, there's a recommendation to approve the request for advertise for bids. And this is for the Newtonsville Area Collection System Assessment Project and the Newtonsville Wastewater Treatment Plant Project. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any discussion?
there is some discussion. Board, if we could just have a little latitude here for a second. Heather Fry is here. You know, every once in a while, something happens here at this board that impacts Clermont County in a positive way. Newtonsville Treatment Facility is going to be one of those. You know, to my fellow commissioners, this is a project in Delisle that everyone has worked on and tried to brought here into fruition. And so every once in a while, I ask for a little latitude. And this particular milestone really warrants a yoo-hoo. So, you know, when something really that's it. When something really wonderful happens like this, you know, we'll just say on three, you're allowed to do a yoo-hoo. 1, 2, 3. Yoo-hoo. There it is. Lyle, congratulations. And
We're going to save the party until the
I get it.
ribbon,
I get it.
ribbon cutting.
You've gotten the
Ahead
yoo-hoo.
of myself.
You've gotten the yoo-hoo. Listen,
Please.
don't take much more latitude. We've given you the yoo-hoo.
No more time on it, right? Now can we have the roll so we can put it through?
Commissioner Bachelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Thank you,
Thank
Lyle.
you.
And thank you, Heather. Item number 18, Diane Owens. Morning.
On behalf of the Clermont County Common Pleas Court, with the concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to authorize Claire B. Corcoran, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute a sub-grant award agreement by and between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services located in Columbus, Ohio, for and on behalf of the Clermont County Court of Common Pleas for the 2020 Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Reimbursement Grant, identified as 2020 CECTF 2370, in the reimbursement amount of up to $20,228 with no local match required, effective for the period of February 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2021, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth in and in concert with the 2020 Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Reimbursement Grant application previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on October 20th, 2021.
Board, you've heard the recommendation to execute the sub-grant award agreement and with the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services. And this is for the 2020 Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Program Reimbursement Grant. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Bachelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Thank you for waiting this morning, too. Item number 19, Sandy DeHart. Good morning.
Item 19 is a recommendation of myself, Sandy Tahat, Human Resources Administrator, with concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to amend the Board of County Commissioners Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual, Section 4.10, titled Holiday Leave, attached thereto and made a part thereof, effective upon approval, and further to authorize my department to update internet links and dependencies accordingly. This change, Commissioner, is to add formally the Juneteenth holiday pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 32519.
Thank you. Board, you've heard the recommendation to amend the Board of County Commissioners Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual, Section 4.10, titled Holiday Leave, as described. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any discussion?
how many hours of holiday now with this addition? Are we at 88 or are we at 96? How many total?
This would be the 11th paid holiday.
11 paid. Okay, 88. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion this morning? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bachelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Thank you, Sandy. Item number 20, Erin Meadows.
Item number 20 is a recommendation to reappoint Judith Kosika of Loveland, Ohio, to serve on the Clermont County Public Library Board of Trustees for the term of January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2028, pursuant to and in compliance with Section 3375.22 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Board, you've heard the recommendation to reappoint Judith Casika to serve on the Clermont County Library Board of Trustees. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes. Item number 21, Erin Meadows.
Item 21 is a recommendation to appoint John Walliver, 853 Old US 52, New Richmond, Ohio 45157, to serve on the Clermont County Public Defender Commission effective August 5th, 2021 through January 14th, 2022, filling the unexpired term of Aaron Moss, who resigned from the board pursuant to Section 120.13 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Board, you've heard the recommendation, and I'd like to make a change on the effective date on this before we vote to correct the date to today's date when we're voting on it.
Change this effective date. That's by statute, correct?
By statute, he
Yep.
has to fill the
It
unexpired.
has to stay on.
He's
Yes.
filling the unexpired term.
Has he been serving since August?
No, we just appointed as of this date, but he has to fill that term.
Okay, all right. Then there's a recommendation for it to serve on the Clermont County Public Commission, Defender Commission, excuse me. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
That doesn't make sense to have August 5th when he's
Doesn't.
now. Oh, well,
But has he been voting on this board since then?
no.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion this morning? I agree with you too. I believe it should have been a
Should have
corrected
been
date, but I
today.
guess that's not our role. All right, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes. Item number 22.
Item 22 is a recommendation to issue a procurement card to Commissioner Batchelor. And it also authorizes Commissioner Corcoran to execute that request. And this is pursuant to and in compliance with the procurement card policy, which was adopted by the board in 2005 and amended in 2007 and 2014.
Board, you've heard the recommendation to authorize the issuance of procurement card for Commissioner Bonnie Batchelor and to execute the request for issuance of that procurement card. I will make that motion. Is there a second to a
Second.
motion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner
You forgot who.
Batchelor.
Abstained.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 23, Mary Raines. Thank you.
Good morning. Item 23 is a request to increase the 2021 annual appropriation in accordance with 570540 of the revised code for general fund for the prosecuting attorney, other expenses in the amount of $9,937, indigent guardianship fund in the amount of $3,000, and then in the Title 4E contract fund, regular salaries of $8,100 and the respective fringes of $4,700.
Board, you've heard the recommendation to resolve to approve and authorize the changes in the annual appropriation resolution number 191-20 for calendar year 2021. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we're moving on to item F, which is additions to the agenda. Mr. Eichel, do we have any additions this morning?
We do. So initially we have three. So I'll take the first three at once. So for the board's consideration to add to the agenda, we have cash advances in the Water Resources Department. And then we have an amendment to a grant application for CTC. And then we have a personnel action in the Department of Job and Family Services.
Board, is there a motion to add these three items to the agenda this morning?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
So I think Mary will have the cash advances.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, the first one is from the Sewer Revenue Fund to the 2005 General Obligation Special Assessment in the amount of $12,841.63. And the next two are both from Water Revenue Fund. One is for the 2006 General Obligation Special Assessment in the amount of $4,638.42. And then $39,922.44 to the 2011 various water and sewer special assessment funds. And these are to make the bond payments that are due December 1st. And since there's no meeting next week, these cash transfers need to be made because the assessment collections have not supported the bond payments.
Board, you've heard the recommendation to resolve and approve and authorize those financial budgetary actions pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 5705.40. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion on it?
Mary, you'd said that the obligation hadn't, is it just the timing or is it just isn't really?
It's the timing of
Okay.
the assessments historically have not been collected to pay quite a few of the water and sewer projects. So what's been done historically is water or sewer, whoever the assessments are, will advance the money. And then as the collections are made, they repay the grants or the advances.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mary. The next edition?
Yeah, I think we'll take the grant application amendment, Mr. Brewer.
Morning, Scott Brewer. How are you today?
And the reason this is added is because of the timing, because
Timing
it's
again
December
on it.
1st, and they need us to execute this grant, so we're adding it today for that reason.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This recommendation of Scott Brewer, myself, Director of Clermont Transportation Connection, with the concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to number 1, amend resolution number 070-21 relative to the adoption of the application for funding with the Ohio Department of Transportation, previously approved by the Board of County Commissioners on May 19, 2021, which represents an increase in the amount of $40,712 for a revised application amount of $62,712. And number 2, to authorize Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to execute the agreement by and between the Clermont County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Clermont Transportation Connection and the Ohio Department of Transportation for the Transit Partnership Program for fiscal year 2022 in the amount of $62,712 in concert with the revised grant application relative thereto, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein.
Board, you've heard the recommendation to amend resolution number 070-21 relative to the adoption of the application for funding with the Ohio Department of Transportation, and also to authorize Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to execute the grant agreement. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
Commissioners, I think the
Yes.
majority of this grant is for electronic fare box. Is that correct, Scott? Okay. That's a good upgrade to our buses, correct? Yes.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Eigel. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Thank you.
And then we'll have the personnel action, so I'll turn that over to Sandy.
Good morning again, Sandy.
It's still boring. This is a recommendation to approve personnel action for the Department of Job and Family Services for Jessica Fitzgerald, a clerical specialist, for the termination resignation effective yesterday, November 16th.
Board, you've heard the recommendation of termination of the employee Jessica Fitzgerald, effective yesterday, just November 16, 2021. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Thank you, Sandy. Any other additions now this morning before we move on?
Yeah, to executive session, as the board moves to executive session, we have for consideration an addition of 12122 G2 of the Ohio Revised Code for the sale of property.
Board, you've heard the addition this morning. Is there a motion to add this to the executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. So at this time, I'd ask for a motion to go into executive session pursuant to section 121.22 G1 and G2 and G3 of the Ohio Revised Code to number 1, consider the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee or more public employees. Number 2, to consider the sale of property at competitive bidding. And number 3, to confer with the prosecuting attorney concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of the pending or imminent court action respectively. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes, we're going into executive session and we will return shortly. Thank you. We're ready. We returned from executive session. No decisions were made today. Are there any other additions to the agenda this morning, Mr. Eichel?
Yeah, we do have one. It's a settlement and release of claims to Dakota Eads.
Thank you. Board, can we add a motion to add this to the agenda this morning?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes, thank you. Good morning.
Mr. Stride.
Morning, Commissioners. I'm here today to present a recommendation that and this is on our recommendation, along with the concurrence of Tom Eigel, the County Administrator for the Board of Commissioners, to authorize payment of a settlement in the sum of $50,000 to Dakota Eads, care of Richmond Law Offices, 810 Sycamore Street, first floor, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45202, and to accept the release of all claims executed by Dakota Eads on the 11th day of November 2021 as relates to an incident that occurred on or about the 29th day of June 2020, and to resolve all claims pursuant to the terms and conditions set forth in that release of claims.
Board, you've heard the recommendation to authorize payment of settlement in the sum of $50,000 to Dakota Eads and the release of all claims. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Shrive, is there
Yes.
going to have to be any signatures on that release?
No, there's no signature needed.
Okay, thank you.
It's a self-executing, Mr.
Okay, thank you.
Send the payment.
Thank
on
you
it.
very much.
Thank you very much, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Any other additions today?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then we're going to move on now to member comments. Members, are there any comments today?
None here.
Hearing none? Oh, go, I'm sorry.
Just say happy birthday to somebody?
Oh,
coming up?
yes. Oh,
Kinda-
yes. Happy birthday to you. Who is
Thank
that
you.
person?
That one gray haired guy down there.
Oh, yes. Happy birthday.
I love it.
Oh, to the gray-headed guy.
Well, it's not actually today.
Did you
it's
diet
actually,
or you
it's
just-
actually the 21st.
Oh, so you're going to,
Well, this is what happens when you quit dieting.
oh, is that what
That's
happens
how-
when you quit diet? Any
that's-
reference to that?
I
or
wouldn't
you-
know that.
I wouldn't know that
I have
either.
no idea.
Nice try, but that didn't work.
Yep, I understand.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
At this point, how about a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you not next week because that's Thanksgiving. We will see you the first week in December. Thank
Then
you
we'll
very
have
much.
a budgetary meeting, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes, budgetary meeting. Thank you very much.